year too.
That I could look up, but I don't know. The Texans just aren't quite right. There's just something off about the Texans. But I do think that their defense will get some Christmas presents from Mr. Jameis Winston. So I'm going to lock the Texans in. This is probably my weakest lock of the year, by the way.
Yeah.
But based on the way that I've picked other teams, like my true lock of the week, I can't take as a true lock of the week. But this is my lock of the week.
Yeah, I have no lock this week because some of these games are just too close to call. This is one of them. I could easily see the Buccaneers winning this game, even though I'm taking the Texans. We've already talked about Jameis Winston, but they don't have a ground game to balance out what they're doing in the passing game when it's working properly. On the flip side, Houston's they're weird to me, especially when they're on the road. They don't look like they're all together there. They did get back to a ground game last week. Carlos Hyde played phenomenally well, close to, if not over 100 yards rushing. I'm going to ride with the Texans on this one just because, they're on the precipice of the playoffs right now. And, this win will pretty much lock everything up for them outside of seeding, with that last game against the Titans pretty much being meaningless. So I think they want to get this knocked out of the way. That being said, key injuries for the Texans. Carlos Hyde was limited due to an ankle. Will Fuller has a hamstring injury. Twan Jones has a hamstring injury. And Jacob Martin has a knee injury. Daniel Fells, their tight end, missed practice on Tuesday with a hand injury. For the Buccaneers, you mentioned those Pro Bowl wide receivers. They're both on the injury report. Godwin and Evans are both nursing hamstrings. Jameis Winston has a thumb and knee injury, and defense tackle Bo Allen's nursing an ankle. Tight end Tanner Hudson is in concussion protocol.
I failed to update everyone. Last week I said I couldn't trust my fantasy team to Brashad Perriman, and I absolutely should have. My son, while he didn't trust his fantasy team either to Brashad Perriman, did pick him up and stashed him on his bench so that I couldn't, even if I wanted to back out of what I had said and pick up Brashad Perriman. And my son is now 3-4 again, three wins, 1 loss against me, and has gone to the championship game once again for the second year in a row, beating his father. And this has been a huge blow to my ego, I got to tell you, James.
I guess so, considering the stat line on Perriman was 3 touchdowns and over 120 yards receiving. What was the point total? You had to have been crying looking at that.
Listen, the other point about Brashad Perriman is that you just mentioned Evans and Godwin probably going to miss this particular game, and everyone is going to jump on the Brashad Perriman bandwagon. I am jumping off. If he's the only option for Jameis in this particular game, he's not going to put up those numbers. He probably won't even get a touchdown. I would definitely not this week jump on the Brashad Perriman bandwagon unless you have literally no other choice, which in one of my championship games, I literally have no other choice.
Yeah, you better jump on it.
I better hope for the best. Expect the worst. Hope for the best. 4:30 game on Saturday features the 10-4 Buffalo Bills at the 11-3 New England Patriots. The Bills are 8th in the power rankings. Patriots are 6th. They are favored by 6.5 points in this particular game. So based on the way the Patriots offense is playing, I should be very concerned in this particular matchup. But much like the Bucs and Jameis Winston, check out the Patriots defense and their turnover ratio, which is plus 24. That is number 1 in the league by a landslide. They have 36 takeaways. They have only 12 giveaways. As I mentioned earlier, 8 of those are Brady interceptions. The next best team is a plus 14. That's Green Bay, who only have 9 giveaways. So somebody better check the air pressure in the balls in Green Bay. Also in New Orleans, where the Saints only have 8 giveaways. Pittsburgh, the only team in the league that has more takeaways than the Patriots with 35. So interesting. The Patriots defense is just stout. Josh Allen versus the Patriots in 2 games, 33 of 69 for 47.83%, 370 total yards, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times in their last game this season. He's rushed for a total of 10 times for 56 total yards with 1 touchdown and 1 fumble. So I'm not totally worried in Foxborough. One nice thing for Buffalo, I'll just add, because I'm a giver, James.
No, you're not.
This is the first time since 1999 the Bills have had 10 plus wins in a season. Their quarterback was Doug Flutie.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
yeah. This game is in New England, and I don't feel comfortable about being overly confident in picking the Patriots, even though I did. If this was any other year, I'd lock this in as a Patriots bye week. But the Bills are stout. They're definitely, they're in the playoffs as it is right now. And look, they bring a defense and a running game that's reminiscent of old school smash mouth football on both sides of the ball. If Allen can, not turn the ball over and stay healthy for the entire game, this will be interesting in the final minutes to see how everything plays out, especially if they have the ball last. No big injuries for the Bills. For the Patriots, 2 big names showing up. Julian Edelman, knee and shoulder. Jason McCourty, unlisted injury.
So Jason McCourty has been on that injury report and actually hasn't been playing in any of the games this season. Julian Edelman, well, I shouldn't say this season, in the last few weeks. Julian Edelman was on the injury report with the same injuries last week. He played last week, but you really can't say any of the Patriots wide receivers played last week, but he had 2 catches for 9 yards or something ridiculous like that. There's another bigger name that you didn't mention, and that is Jonathan Jones. Many people will be like, oh, he's just a special teamer. Actually, he's their fastest cornerback on the team, and he usually plays the slot position. That would be a big injury. That would bring in rookie Juwan Williams as the Patriots' next option after J.C. Jackson, and especially with Jason McCourty not playing.
Noted.
Yeah. By the way, the weather in Tampa Bay, chance of some afternoon showers. So I don't know if that will affect the game any. It will be a lot warmer, though, than it will be in Foxborough, where the high temperature will be 35 degrees. And at the point that they're playing, the temperature will be dropping. So it's going to be a chilly one there in Foxborough. I have been told that this recap of the Bills, or this preview of the Bills Patriots, is a mammoth one from Rob. So strap in, James.
Uh-oh.
He starts Bills at the Fighting Asterix, which is just
appropriate.
No, it's completely inappropriate.
No, it's appropriate.
Bills in the playoffs for the second time in 3 years go to Foxborough to play the Pats, who are in a unique situation as they usually have the division wrapped up, but not this year. Must be weird playing your starters in Week 16. The Patriots play their starters in Week 17. Bills still have a very outside chance of winning the division and securing a bye in the first round of the playoffs, but that includes not only beating the Pats in New England, but also the Pats losing the following week to the Miami Dolphins at one Patriots place. That's also not going to happen. So basically, the Pats have control of the division, but not officially. National TV game under the lights because it gets dark at 4 in late December. Since the last time the Bills played the Pats, some things have changed in the Bills offense. First is the emergence of motor Devin Singletary. He's been playing very well the past couple weeks, but needs to cut down the fumbles. Josh Allen has progressed since the last time the Bills played the Patriots, throwing for 15 touchdowns against 3 interceptions, with another 6 touchdowns on the ground. That's interesting. So he's only doubled his interceptions since he played the Patriots, because the Patriots had 3 interceptions in that last game. They have played legit defenses during this stretch as well, with games against Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Denver, and I guess we can include Dallas in that stretch. They'll go up against a Pats defense that is still good, but not nearly the juggernaut they faced in Week 4. After Week 4, the Pats were giving up 6 points and change a game. The last 7 games, they've given up almost 20 a game. That's because they've faced better teams. I think the Bills will be able to score a little bit, but I would still say advantage Pats on that side of the ball. Not turning the ball over will be key. John Brown probably has a bad game. Stephon Gilmore will be covering him, and he is playing his best football to date. I dare say the best corner in the league and leads the league in interceptions currently. So good. On the other side of the ball, I expect the Bills defense to rule the day against the Pats. In the 5 games coached by Sean McDermott against Brady, he has thrown for an average of 216 yards with 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. This is not a coincidence. The Bills defense is built for the Pats offense. If the Pats cannot get the run game going, Bills defense should cause some legit problems for them. Bills have not beaten the Pats under the McDermott regime, and the last coach to beat them in a non-completely meaningless game was Chan Gailey.
Wow.
Fortunately for the Bills, this is surely the best team that they have brought to New England probably since the 90s. For the first time in a long time, I don't think the Bills lose this game. Patriots offense does not look good, and it is a stretch to say they get right against the Bills. Brady has completed about 50% of his passes each of the past 4 weeks. Pats win the division, but this dynasty is coming to an end. Bills are 6-1 on the road this year, and I think they make it 7-1. Go effing Bills. Bills 17, Patriots 16. Yeah, that's fan fiction right there. That's what I just read.
You did say madness. And while I don't begrudge him, he does. I mean, hey, look, you guys' offense has struggled the last several weeks. And albeit, yes, definitely played against much better teams than you did for the first 8 games of the season. But that 5-game stretch of Baltimore, Kansas City, Dallas, Philly, Houston, they did limit. I mean, you did win 2 of those 3, but you were limited offensively in every single game. So, and it doesn't look like it's gotten right because you had the Bengals last week and wide receivers are pretty much non-existent.
Yeah. I mean, the Patriots definitely had to pull out a lot of stops to make the offense move correctly. And as we mentioned last week, a lot of it has to do with a very poor offensive line that's working on a backup center, a right tackle who was not the best tackle in pro football, who had a lot of help from a tight end who's no longer there, and I failed to mention no fullback. The Patriots have relied on James Devlin for quite some time. He's missed almost the entire season, and his backup got injured very early on in the season as well. So the Patriots, without 2 key blockers in their offense, haven't been able to make this offense work the way that they've normally made it work.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
Tight end. You mentioned tight end. I wonder what Ben Coates is doing. You guys could really use him.
We really could. I got to tell you, I see Troy Brown. He's been a coaching assistant this season on the sidelines, and could really use Troy Brown out there, quite honestly. Kind of nice.
The first utility player you guys ever had?
Exactly. The final game on Saturday, the Los Angeles Rams are 8-6. The San Francisco 49ers are 11-3. The Niners fall to 5th in our power rankings. The Rams are 14th in the power rankings. 49ers are favored by 6 points in this particular games. The Rams have won 2 of the past 3, did lose at home earlier this season. Jared Goff has 5 touchdowns, no picks, for a 137.8 rating in 2 career starts at San Francisco. Brandon Cooks has a touchdown in each of the last 3 versus the 49ers. Is Richard Sherman back, James?
Richard Sherman is currently not showing up on the injury report. I did see that he left the game early on Sunday, but not here currently. Players who do show up on the injury report for the 49ers, D Ford with a hamstring, safety Jaquiski Tart with ribs, Kwan Williams, cornerback, and concussion protocol. Center Mike Pearson has a neck injury. Big names for the Rams, Gerald Everett. Troy Hill, cornerback, has undergone surgery for his broken thumb. He's questionable for Sunday. And Rob Haverstein, the offensive tackle, is listed on the report as well.
And Richard Sherman's injury was hamstring, muscle related. We know what what a gimpy hamstring means, even if you think you can go.